dun, dun. Clean my glasses. What up? Sorry, I couldn't resist. Hey, Frost. I'm working on a slice of life pick. Also tied to the anniversary. What's up? Alright. Yeah, I'm having a good day. Oh, you got your first commission? That's good. Let that be the road to good things, or to start to good things. Yeah, this has to do with the anniversary. If she needs a ring or something, then I would give it to her. But at the moment, I don't see it. Yeah, I'm trying to make some stuff for the anniversary. technically the anniversary was on the 2nd, but I'm just counting the entire month as the anniversary. Ah. Who was that? Thank you for subscribing, Flassyplux. Yeah, I thought I messed with it, but I know the stream is a little bit delayed after like I say something. It takes like a few seconds for it to actually show up on stream. Does Tree Star have a brother or a male cousin? She probably has cousins, but no, she does not have a brother. She is an only child. You can draw whatever you want, but I will not be taking anything as canon for multiple reasons. One of the biggest reasons is just rights issue stuff, because I don't want to deal with that again. But yes, it has been a crazy 10 years. But yeah, draw whatever you want. I love this conversation with this song. You're damn right, Knuckles. Like, this song in particular is just like, man, they just let them do whatever. The song is good, though. Basically, in this scene, Marcy is wearing her old clothes. The pink one that she uses as her base when she was skinny. So we're gonna be having Marcy wearing that. And Skylar's like, I know it's our anniversary, but you don't have to wear that. And Marcy being like, what? No, it fits. Slight denial. And then I want to draw him holding a photo of her in that outfit. So it'll be this outfit. Let me grab it. It'll be this outfit that she'll be wearing. Shrink this down a bit. So you can imagine how that may look on her when I get there. Assuming I show anything that has to do with Mona's moving career, if it has to do with Egypt, she will probably be wearing whatever is appropriate. No, because that character exists in a different timeline. In fact, let me check this. I'm like, I know that's not how his name is spelled, at least I don't think it is, but I haven't looked at him in forever. Ah, I was right, it wasn't. He doesn't have the TU. That's part of his last name, though. But yeah, that's a whole different timeline. So, if he were to appear in that, that'd be an entirely different interpretation. Basically a tube top. I mean, given her size, it might just be a bra, if we're lucky. Marcy takes a step and all the clothes just explode off of her. Including underwear. And Skylar's like, were you wearing your old underwear too? And she's like, I was trying to be accurate. Dun, dun. Got all that. Technically, there should be a star on the side. Oh, that cake. I was like, which cake are we talking about? Oh yeah, Marcy being like, "How'd you get hurt?" You know, small kitchen accidents every once in a while. As it flashes back to some of his victims trying to escape. Let's fix this horn. Yeah, might have to move it just a bit. Just seemed a little off to me. It's been forever since I looked at that art. I'd have to look at it again at some point. God, imagine if Marcy had an OnlyFirst account. If that was real, I'm pretty sure tons of people would go to that. If I made that a thing, like, obviously not on OnlyFans, but just made like a tier of just lewd art, like completely lewd artwork, like nothing safe or whatever of the women characters, I could only imagine what would come from that. Like, it would all have nothing to do with anything. It would just be like, just whatever. If I ever did do something like that, it would have to be exclusive. Like it would not be sold anywhere else. It would have to be specifically for that tier. And it would just be like complete lewd nonsense stuff. It'd be like, you know, titties, private parts, whatever, tons of cum, blah blah blah. And it would just be of any character. And if I were to do that, first would be Marcy. If I ever did that. Who said she owns the account? I mean, it'd have to be a pretty high tier to be perfectly honest, though, because so far the highest tier is 50. There used to be a $100 tier back when I made commissions exclusive. Hot heavy milfs in your area. Well, if I were to do that, I'll definitely let people know. I'm not against the idea. I just have to plan for it. I will say that if I were to do something like that, it would only update like, I don't know, only a couple times a month because I have everything else to work on. But right now it's not in the plans, but we'll see. Once I have less to work on, then we can do something like that. Hello. If Tiffany is working at a place similar to Hooters, she'd definitely be working somewhere that pays better. And would probably be much more grabby. Like, it could still be a restaurant theme, but she's definitely gonna have to work somewhere that's gonna be paying bills. Whether she likes it or not. Yeah. I'm definitely not gonna mess with other tiers and all that, but definitely gotta make more time for certain ones. But yeah, right now the idea is not on the table. If it does come up, it'll be later down the line. I'll be honest, the Hooters idea just sounds boring. Because all it's gonna be is just all the women wearing the same outfit. And they're just fat. And we kind of already did that with the beach stuff. Oh yeah, there's plenty of footage of the beach artwork, and they're posted on all the art sites that I post on anyway. So there's that too, and those should have the links to the streams as well. I am currently not paying for the ability to stream on multiple sites. And even if I was, different sites have different rules, so kind of have to play it safe depending on where I'm streaming. And to be honest, YouTube's just better. Yeah, let's knock this person out. I don't know what the hell all that is about. Hold on. There's nothing that puts a ban other than this. There you go, Joanne. Num nums. Like, I noticed that they were acting weird, but I was kind of waiting it out a bit, but that last one was just kind of like, okay, that just looked like gibberish nonsense. Well, the problem with Twitch is just there's too many negatives with it. Like, yeah, you can get paid from it pretty quickly after you reach a few thresholds and all that, but like, obviously you need a bigger audience to get more numbers and stuff like that, but just overall the rules are just not as good as YouTube's, like the nudity rule for art. Like, they allow it for games that have it because that's just kind of beyond your control, but when it comes to artwork, it's just too restrictive. And then it's much easier to reach out with YouTube. Well, yeah. At least with some of the streaming programs, multi-streaming you usually gotta pay for to enable that function. So if people are doing it, they're probably making enough to justify it. Bald cat is bald. Yeah, Twitch is finicky with their rules as well. Because they have an obvious bias for certain groups of people that may or may not be ruining the site. And either the site is going to have to kick them off at some point, or the site's going to go down. May not happen today, may not even happen this year, but it's probably going to happen. Especially if the higher-ups at Amazon learn more about the situation, since they're the ones that are paying for Twitch. But yeah, in terms of rules, they are completely not even with a lot of people. Like, the shit people have gotten away with makes 0 sense compared to other people who have been banned permanently. Like, there have been some people who have been naked, or have jerked off, or have literally had sex on stream, not banned, but somebody tell somebody L-take or whatever it was, and they've been permanently banned. I kid you not, the first time how times there's a woman writing people's names. Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Pretty sure it's been take that phone. Oh really? YouTube AI is gonna be fucking interesting. Cause I watch random ass shit all the time. Whether it be cartoons or mature stuff, so... Which is also weird because... See, the biggest problem with their AI idea is that YouTube Kids exists. So... It's like, oh, we're gonna mark people who are at a young age on YouTube, and I'm like, wait... You already said your site was for whatever age first. Then... I don't know, it's like implying that they have adult content when they don't. Or at least shouldn't, because there are some loopholes to that. But it just makes no sense, and it'll be really interesting. Plus, they've already changed it to where people have to like, comment, or subscribe, or whatever the case may be, in order for videos to count towards towards views or time or whatever the case may be, which... That's gonna suck because we don't know if creators are losing money on that and YouTube's not, or if everybody, including YouTube, is missing out on money if they don't count those views. Because if they don't count them, that means you're gonna see like a drop in revenue. And I assume that if that happens, either because of the AI ID or age thing, or because of the new views thing that they're doing. If either of that happens, then I could see YouTube rolling it all back because they'd be losing money. But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. The best I can say is that let YouTube try whatever the hell they're gonna try, and if it blows up in their face, then they'll run it back, because it would make no sense for them to keep it if it's actually making them lose money. Or if it's, you know, making the website not functional. So, let them be stupid. That's the best I can say. It always feels... I mean, this happens with every website. Every website, for some unknown reason, has to make some idiotic update that ruins something that was already good. and then once they finally realize that it was stupid, they'll change it back, or in some cases we just kind of have to deal with it if it's not that big of a change. But like every website does that, and it boggles the mind on why they do it. And the only explanation I can think of is somebody has to justify their job, or else they get let go. Because there have been plenty of websites that just were like perfect, and then they make like a weird update or change, and it just makes like the task harder. Like for Patreon, for example, before all you had to do was just click a button and you could upload something. Now they made it so that you have to click a button, then you gotta click on another button, then one more button, and then you can upload shit. And I'm just like, why did we add more steps to something that was easy? I like videos when they're not serious, like the audio. Yeah, like the only time AI is fine with me is one, if it's being used as a tool. Two, obviously when it's not ripping off other artists, which it basically have to boil down to being trained on self-made content. And then the AI videos is a bit of an asterisk because it's kind of like, does it use other people's content in order to make it, which I'm pretty sure it does because that's how that would work. But when it's just like pointless nothing, then it's fine. But when it's like obviously using somebody else's work, then I have an issue with it. So I'm basically in the same boat in that case. We're on Internet 2.0. Let's do over. Yeah. We're in this weird spot right now where a bunch of company people think that they can lessen the workflow to make more money while making content that they assume cost them nothing, which I hope they know that they can't copyright any of the stuff that they make with AI because of how it gathers information. And then, not only that, they still have to put in work in order to make the AI artwork or videos or whatever, like, coherent. So it's just more work. And sure, we have the AI people on, like, DeviantArt who are just, like, shitting out tons and tons of art. Like every day or something like that, because they put up like over 1,000 at a time, which I mean that costs them money for one, if they're using like the full service stuff, and then Lord knows what it's doing to the environment because of cooling system. I mean, granted, other things do more damage, but still. But I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there, I guess. I'm more curious on if people that make that kind of stuff on DeviantArt actually make money, because like almost all of them are like selling like mature content and stuff, and I'm just like, are you guys actually making money from this? I mean, I'd have to imagine they are. And I know some of the excuses like oh well, this is how I can be an artist, and I'm sitting there going like, you can literally learn how to be an artist. It's not hard. You just gotta put in the time. But they don't want to, and they're just looking for a quick fix. And it's mostly so they can feel validated and stuff, or whatever the case. I don't know. It's just stuff to make them feel better. That's all this is. It's like, yeah, the people who want to feel better and think that they're artists, and then you have people who are doing it to make a quick buck. That's basically it. And then you have like the small percentage of people who are actually using it for as a tool, the way it was intended. Yeah, I don't really venture around DeviantArt as much as I used to. Like if I see a link to someone's artwork on DeviantArt, then I'll go to it. But outside of that, I don't find much anymore. Because like, if you go to the browser, like I can go to the browser or like the homepage of DeviantArt right now, and it's just gonna be AI stuff. Let's see. AI, AI. Well, that person's not AI. I know that for a fact. Is this person AI? Doesn't look like it. Oh yeah, definitely. That's not AI either. So far 2 that are not AI. More AI, and a few that are not. So yeah, like just the homepage alone is covered in AI. Oh yeah, it turned into Mecha Hitler. I thought that was funny. I mean, they should have expected people to try to manipulate it into doing that. I don't think they had to remove it, honestly. They could have just tweaked it to not answer stuff like that. But yeah, it should have been something that they should have expected to happen. Ah, that makes sense. Right? Like Marcy's got a lot of like mom tastes, just like casual wear. And she normally wears big stretchy bottoms, but in this case it's like, it looks like you're gonna destroy your old clothes. Assuming she could even get her jeans past her legs. Obviously I'm gonna super exaggerate how she's gonna look wearing this. But it's still fun. You know, now that I think about it, for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you have to deal with the time machine that you gotta stop. And it reminds me that in Pokemon Gold and Silver, you got a time machine in order to get Pokemon from Red and Blue. So, would that imply that the time machine, or a time machine, have been mass-produced in Gold and Silver? Oh, first time on my stream? Welcome. I mean, if anything, Marcy wearing her clothes right now is just gonna make it easier for Alara to wear. Since Alara is on the thicker side. Marcy manages to wear her clothes. She's like, oh, see, they fit perfectly fine. So, what are we having for lunch? Skylar just gives her a sandwich, and she's like, "What? Only a sandwich?" He's like, "Just humor me for a moment." So she eats the sandwich, and her clothes immediately burst. And he's like, "Thought so." Like he probably didn't even have to do anything to the food. He just had to give her something. Thick with 5 C's. She is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Now the question is, does she get the bow or not? Because technically Marcel has the bow. I mean, it's not like she can't just buy another bow, but obviously her original bow has a little bit more meaning. That's neat. I have not played Scarlet and Violet. I see no point if you can't capture all the Pokemon. Like I gave them the benefit of the doubt with Sword and Shield, but after being burned on that, I'm like, yeah, Pokemon's dead to me until we reach a point where we can get all the Pokemon again. No, your comments aren't being ignored. There's a lot on screen, so, and I'm drawing at the same time. Where can I find proper timeline stream of the comics I've made? I mean, I don't stream all the comics I work on, so you're probably not going to find those. But you can look on YouTube and Twitch, I guess, to see if there's anything there. Occasional failure to work, I love your content, but I feel like I've gotten a lot of... Oh, if you want to see all the comics in order, here, this will probably make things easier. Easiest way for me to tell you would be on Ink Bunny. So hold on a second. Pools. Where is it? There it is. Where that's all I had. You can find the others on Ink Bunny as well if you look in the pools. But you'll have to have an account if you're going to see all the risque stuff. But yeah, I would say Ink Bunny is the best way to go about it. But DeviantArt also has them in order, or at least they should be in order. Questions about your stories, sources, and stuff. Mainly, why some things are so dark and the reason why stuff is dark in my comics is because I'm trying to be a bit realistic with certain scenarios here and there. It's kind of like, for example, when people didn't want for the original version of Chapter 5 for IHAT, people originally didn't want Skylar to kill Tiffany, and my thought process behind that was, well, it makes no sense for him to let her go. Like, he already kidnapped her. He was already gonna, stuff her silly, make her fat. And, like, what? He's just gonna let her go after that? Because people are... A lot of times with weight gain comics, people just see it as more of either humiliation, something goofy, or, I guess, the sexual when it comes to, like, making the characters be aroused by it and stuff like that. And all that is fine, but if you're trying to take it seriously in like a world that actually functions and exists, it just doesn't make sense to do stuff like that, especially if a character is a villain. It's just like, oh, you're fat, now I'm gonna put you out there in the world for all to see, and that's it. And it's like, really? There's gonna be no repercussions for that? Like, it makes zero sense. And then there's, like, the situation of big characters being able to walk into buildings without any problems, or if they do cause property damage, there's, like, no consequence to that. So I'm just in the mindset of, if things happen in an existing world, there has to be at least some domino effect. And sure, I can bend the rules here and there, but I can't, like, do that for everything, because then nothing would matter. It'd be like, up, here's this giant who broke a building. It'll be repaired next week. Anybody paying for that? Who cares? Money is irrelevant. Yes, exactly. For consistency. Oh yeah, yeah. If you become a patron and all that, and you get access to the Dropbox and all that, pretty much everything is in order, including special content. There's 1,026 Pokemon to get. I mean, yeah. And? Your point? They literally have the models for all the Pokemon made to be future-proof. And their data was in Sword and Shield. So it was already doable to begin with. And then, not only did Scarlet and Violet basically keep the trend of Pokemon are locked to specific regions, but then they made more Pokemon variants, or technically new Pokemon if we're going off of past and present, or past and future. So all they're doing is just digging their grave on that. Because I think the only way they're solving this problem is with Pokemon Champions that's coming out. Because that game seems to be like it'll be the competitive Pokemon game. That way they can make Pokemon games that don't have all the Pokemon in it. They can all be region locked or whatever, with slight crossplay here and there, or cross treating. But that's kind of like, that's the only way to solve their problem if they're going to keep doing that. Yeah, like, there can be more lighthearted things that happen in the stories, of course, but when it comes to specific scenarios, such as, what Skylar's doing, or the situation with Caitlyn, or the stuff that's happening with Joanne, it just makes no sense to be lighthearted about it. It's like, it wouldn't realistically happen that way. Like, at least in Joanne's case, it's like, okay, She ended up eating a guy that she thought was a client. Finds out that he's basically a rapist. And came to the conclusion to just let the asshole die. And then, of course, she's like tripping out about, what's going to happen to her because she's already in some shady area. She doesn't know if anything's going to come back to bite her in the ass. And she gets reassured, like, no, you're basically in the best place that anything like that could possibly happen. But if you're that, worried about it, here's your chance to get out. Just, forget what you saw, forget everything that happened, go back to your life, and here's your moment. And then she decides to go the other route because she needs the money. But yeah, I'm just in the mindset that certain, like, if you're gonna make a story that has a consistent, continuous story or world and all that, you gotta be a bit realistic about it, and not just make everything humor or everything like not matter. It's kind of like how people want characters to gain weight and then never lose it, but then expect them to gain even more weight and get fatter and then still be able to move around and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, so do you want me to be realistic, or do you want me to just throw out the rules and just make, nonsense? Because I can make nonsense, but then it just becomes pointless to me. Especially the get fat but never lose weight thing, because then it's like, okay, what are you expecting at that point? Because if the characters never lose weight, then the only direction we can go is, or there's two directions: either they stay the same forever, or they keep getting bigger and bigger until they just burst out of a building or something, and even then it just becomes an endless void of a fat character, and we just end up with a situation where it's like, oh, they're bigger than the planet and they eat the planet or something, or eat the universe, and then it's just more nonsense. It just becomes stupid. That's the best way I can put it. It just becomes stupid. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. And sure, I can give somebody a character that stays fat forever, but don't expect that character to come back in canon, because there'd be nothing for me to use them for. Like, if I made Marcy fat to the point where she was completely immobile, then I might as well not use her anymore, because there's nothing left to do with her. I can make her just be like a big slob that has to be catered to by other characters, but that becomes boring after a while, and there's nothing more to do. Like, that's the best way I can explain that kind of mentality. And I understand people are into that, and sure, I can draw the characters, indulging in those categories in a non-canon way. But if you want me to take it seriously, I can't do that, because it makes no sense. Yeah, and then there's like all the god stuff too. Sorry, let me look through the comments again. I'm sure I missed some stuff. Blah blah blah. I really don't like Pokemon as a company. Yeah, Pokemon's been doing a lot of... Pokemon and Nintendo have been doing a lot of shady shit as of late. Especially with the plagiarism thing that happened recently. Speaking of the Orchidoo who ate the wolf food, goddamn. I was not expecting what happened there, but... Well, yeah, because that was her moment of escape. It's like... Because I always want... Because, like, obviously if something has claws, they would try to, like, scratch their way out of something's stomach, but obviously... saliva and mucus would make that hard to do, because it would take away the friction. So in her case, she just had the ability to make like a small spark of, like, I don't know, something probably similar to like plasma or something like that, to cut her way out. Black Circus adds a new layer to the weird mix-ups. Yeah. I do need to relook at Black Circus a bit in terms of its lore, just so I make sure certain things make sense. But other than that, it's pretty much, falls into like the villains of the normal people. That's like the best way to put it for Black Circus. Personally, I prefer all kinds of fat where it's realistic, especially the bigger they get. It's always bothered me you see a character that's 1,000 still mobile with no issues. Like, it can be fine to have a fat character be like a incredibly fat character be mobile with no issues, but the problem with that, at least to me, the problem that comes with that is if you plan on using that character in any serious setting. Because at a certain point, if you take it seriously, then you have to take into account everything that you ever did. Because then it drums up questions. It's kind of like, oh, here's this big character. How come there's no other big character? Like let's just say like they're like the size of a giant, for example. It's like, okay, where's all the other ones? And you have to make up some weird excuse for that. And then it snowballs. If like the more and more excuses and lore that you have to pile on to the shenanigans that you already established, just makes your job harder. It's kind of like if magic exists and how are there certain problems, for example, like, oh, this building was destroyed. Okay, we'll just use magic to put it back together. No, we can't. It's destroyed. Well, that doesn't make sense. If we clearly have the magical ability to fix things, why aren't we using it to fix this broken building? It's like that logic. Yeah, I definitely want to do scenarios where like a character gaining weight can be like fearful. I mean, obviously Caitlyn's already dealing with that scenario, but like I can take that further if I wanted to. Like, I can make some kind of like weird virus thing happen, kind of like the whole like that balloon thing that people were doing. I can do something like that. I can tie it to like Yordadov's antics. I can tie it to characteristic swapping. I can tie it to mukbang stuff. Like the list goes on. Like I can do whatever. I just wanted to make sense. Yeah, like in my world, there are facilities and places for giant characters, so that way they can have like, um, like a common roaming around type of thing. Of course, they have to be extremely careful if they're going to like, areas that weren't built for them, and so there can be consequences to messing up on that end. And then if people were to journey to areas that were built for giants, then they should expect giant sidewalks trying to get from one area to another, because to a giant it's just like a normal walking distance, but to a normal person it's like, dear god, why does it take me a block to get to somebody's house? And it's like one door away type of thing. It's like if you look at Zootopia and you look at how they incorporate the smaller creatures in those worlds, it makes you wonder about that kind of scenario. It's like, all right, here are all these tiny people, and they even had like a tiny town area too, where Judy saves the possum woman from the giant donut. They already incorporated something like that, but like when you see them in like normal areas, it's like, well, damn, it must take fucking forever to walk around if they don't have like a taxi or something. Yeah, like if there is like a giant fat character who is literally just like sitting around doing nothing but just being a slob and probably has like a shit ton of money, then yeah, they could probably see them either being in big business or just made like a lot of business decisions that got them infinite wealth, basically. And then you just see them spiral downwards. So like I could start a story of that character being normal, like just thin or whatever. And then once they get like a shit ton of money, they start indulging on like so much nonsense, and then you just see the end result of them being like a fat slob. But yeah, ultimately, I just try to pay attention to how I'm handling certain characters in certain magic systems, I guess would be the way to put it. Because if I make certain things happen, I have to explain why it doesn't happen elsewhere. Like for example, all the gods that I've made for the series and all that, they don't focus on Earth very often because there are like millions and infinite planets and worlds and stuff like that out there, including alternate timelines, that they're not always looking at one particular timeline or world. They may be focused on something else, or they may not even be paying attention to any of those things at all. Like they're just doing their jobs and nothing more. That's why I changed the way Skylar got his abilities, because realistically, the devil would not give a shit if Skylar was going to die or not. Like, there's no reason for her to pay attention to him. So that's why that was changed. As well as fitting it better into the World Gates universe. So yeah, it was just stuff that I wanted to make more sense. Thank you for subbing, Skeleton Cross Studios. Fancy. Yeah, like giant characters can be used for construction and stuff like that. Some of the Ferricine are used for like food supply. So like you have like the chicken Ferricines supplying eggs and stuff like that. Like certain creatures and characters have their own roles and stuff like that. Just depends on what they're needed for and like where they are in society. And Ferricines have it rough because they're stuck with animal bodies, and so they have to find ways to adapt. And that's something that Joanne doesn't want to fall into. Like she's not against doing what you got to do to survive type of thing, but she doesn't want to just be typecasted into just oh well, you're a snake. What can snakes do? Especially if it's like if she ended up doing adult content just based off of her being a snake, which is kind of what she's already doing anyway. It's like, oh, she's a snake. That means she has a big throat, and she just does that. Of course, in her situation, she's doing more than just sucking dick or whatever. So yeah, it's just, if you're going to add something into your world and you're trying to take your world seriously, then you need to pay attention to what you're throwing in. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done with this panel of Marcy that I've been working on forever at this point, because I've been rambling. But let me just add in these details. But yeah, it's literally just the magic system of if this exists and if it's common enough, then how does a problem that can be solved by that mechanical entry be a thing? I guess like the easiest way to explain it is like if you invent a cup to carry water, and people are like struggling to carry water, how is that a problem if a cup exists? That's like the best way I can explain that. And sure, you can like deconstruct that and be like, oh well, what if a cup is expensive? Then sure, yeah, that makes sense. Why not everybody would be able to do that, because cups are expensive. Cups are for some reason $1 billion. Cool, we established that now. And if you can explain that, then there you go. Yeah, yeah, that's like another thing. I try to, not always, but for the most part, try to ignore characters being tied to what animal they are, because I feel that that just kind of hinders things. So, like for example, just because Marcy's a cat doesn't mean that she's gonna chase a ball around all the time, or like fish is not her favorite food or something like that. Like whatever cha- um, changes to her character that I would want, like something that fits her. Like I'm not gonna make her fall into cat stuff just because she's a cat. Yeah, like in My Little Pony, they have like a bunch of human tools and stuff like that. Like the camera. The camera almost makes no fucking sense, because there are situations where you can clearly see like the button of the camera or whatever, and it just snaps on its own without them using their hooves to press it. But I do like the fact that they wear like a collar or whatever in order to have the camera in the first place. But then, of course, you have some ponies that are just magic and they can just make things float. So that kind of removes that problem to a degree. Yeah, like I can add in something silly and have Marcy be able to get high off of catnip. Like that would be funny. Like, what if she's like cleaning through the girls' rooms or something like that and goes to Alara's stuff and finds a box of something, opens it up, and a cloud of catnip, bursts out of it for whatever reason. And then you just see Marcy being super fucking high, and then she just has the munchies. Like, I could do some shit like that. That'd be a fun time. Well, assuming that you wouldn't be able to commission somebody, if you want something done, do it yourself. And before you say I don't know how to draw, teach yourself how to draw. It is doable. Who knows what could happen if you tried to draw? I was like, why am I holding this? And I'm like, oh yeah. Marcy with the munchies. Skylar gets home and he just sees Marcy and her happy ass on the couch with like a shit ton of boxes and bags next to her. She's like, "Oh, hey, honey," and he's just like, "You all right?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine." Probably gets frisky with Skylar. She just runs over and pounds him. He's like, "Oh, holy shit!" Oh yeah, definitely. Alara gets home and is like, "Mom, did you use up all my catnip?" And Skylar is like, "Young lady, why do you have catnip?" I don't even know if I would treat catnip as a drug, but I might as well. Pretty much does the same shit. It's like, fuck it, why not? Yeah, man. Thank you, Jesus. But yeah, outside of like certain Nip could be a certain weed strain. You know what? Why not? We'll make that a thing. And make like Nip be like a universal weed thing, so it can be applied to like other species. I'll get the vacuum again. Because we already got like stuff like oh my god, why am I blanking out on the name of it? Like Black Love, which is a worse drug and should not be used on Farrakeen. As Tim has unfortunately learned. Oh yeah, and then Alari gets fucking grounded. He's like, and she's like, I didn't even take it. He's like, yeah, but you shouldn't have had it. Then she goes on social media and starts bitching. She's like, my fat ass mom just did all my nip. That sounds wrong now. Now it sounds like we're talking about nipples. Nah, we can make it work. We'll just keep using tits or whatever for nipple related stuff, or breast related stuff, or say the whole word nipple instead of nip. I don't know. Case by case thing. There's multiple words for multiple things anyway. And Skylar probably have to make Marcy something to help her weed off of the catnip. He's like, here, honey, let me make you something better. And she's like, thank you, honey. Nom nom. And she eats like another fistful of cookies. Lets out a nice content belch after he feeds her. Probably makes her like a turkey or something, I don't know. Overstuffed turkey. Realistically, she'll never do it only for of her mother. I mean, if anything, she's more likely to do that. It's either that or take pics of her sister, but that's basically it. If I was being humorous about it, it'd be funny if Alara was like, scrolling around on like OnlyFurs, and then all of a sudden she's like, wait a minute, Grandma? And sees fucking Crystal. Making a little extra spending money. After she's like retired. Lord help us if Jupiter ever had it only for. Becky would never would never do OnlyFurs. Lucy would definitely do it. She'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know a bunch of perverts that would want my pics." I could see Lucy getting taking like a bunch of lewd photos of Becky without her knowledge, or had like a few on hand from like past events or something, and makes like a separate account for Becky just in case Becky found out, and she could use it as leverage. Like, look, see, look at all this money you made, and Becky's like, I want all of it, and no more, like no more pics. And Lucy was like, fine. And then Becky's like, how much did you make off of that, off of me anyway? And then looks at the number and she's like, holy fucking hell. And then Lucy would try to talk her into, she's like, you sure you want to stop? And she's like, yes. And she's like, damn. Yeah, right, exactly. The blackmail set. That's basically that. Of course, the weight gain thing's a big question mark. It's like, is that canon? Is it not canon? And it's like, who cares? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, for all we know, it's photoshopped. Okay, so let me just set this up. I'll just put this here for the time being. Doesn't need to be perfect. There we go. So this is basically the joke that's gonna happen. Oh yeah. she's gonna look at Lucy and be like, someone's about to be bald in a moment. Yeah, I thought this would be fun to do. Have Marcy wearing her old clothes and clearly being too big for them. Now the question is, did she manage to get the jeans past her legs? Because she's either going to be wearing some short-ass short shorts, or they did not make it past her legs. Alright. Shrink down my pen. Can draw her bigger than that, like being a little bit closer. You don't have to see everything on her. Just enough to get the point across. Yeah, exactly. Like she just went to the mall and got like, you know, photo booth pictures. That could be the canon for all of the profile art, is that they all just got cheap pictures taken by somebody, or either at like a photo booth or they went to like a cheap photo place. I mean, I got enough characters, I can make one of them a photographer. I think I already have one somewhere. Either an adopted character or original, either or. Like, you're a photographer now, what? But I was supposed to be a spellcaster, you're a photographer now. Okay, I'm a photographer. Almost like the same mentality of Tina from Looney Tunes, where she's like, "All right, these will be ready next Tuesday." But the festival is this weekend. I said next Tuesday. Which is basically Becky's mentality. Let's make our eyes a little bit more happier. I think she's trying not to admit that her clothes are too small. Oh yeah, I can make it lewd. She'd be like, she's like, "Oh my gosh, Skylar, look how small my clothes are now. You've ruined them." She's like, "Look how fat you made me." That would likely just turn on Skylar. Skylar would see her wearing the clothes still, and he's like, I guess my work isn't done yet." And she's like, "What?" And he just feeds her like a shit ton of food until they pop. Oh yeah, she's a big girl now. Skylar's like, hell and yes. Kind of want to be a little bit more like. Probably have her like sweating or whatever, just to kind of like that. We'll tweak it. Right now, I just want to get her general face. Oh yeah, he'd be like, oh, it's like, huh? I see you can still wear them. I guess I'm not done yet. And she's like, what? Stuffs her ass with more food. Her laying on the bed in food coma as her clothes are completely destroyed at that point. And let's do this. That way I can have her face on that side. She'd be like, see, can't tell the difference, right? Right? And Skylar's just got a thing, and he's like, I need to make her bigger. Or he's like, I'm gonna ruin those clothes. And then, of course, I'm gonna put a happy anniversary on the bottom. Exactly. She'd be like, "Oh no, you're gonna make me fatter." Opens her mouth, getting ready for whatever he fucking made for her, like a big slice of pie or something. Blueberry pie. And all she's gonna be doing during all that is just moaning. As he's feeding her, and he's just like, "You're doing this on purpose." And she'd be like, "Doing what?" As she licks her mouth. And he's like, "Alright, we need to continue this in the bedroom." Bangs the shit out of her as he's feeding her. As her top is gonna get destroyed. Bottoms too, if she just has them around her legs or something. See, there's no wrong answer here, unless we try. And this is why it's fun with them. Oh yes, definitely. And now, since it's been 10 years, we are now canonically caught up to where they are. Since it's a 10-year gap jump between the comic and when they're adults, or when they're parents. So it took us a while, but we are now caught up with them. Have to get some more water soon. Oh yeah. I could see them doing that if they like sent the kids off, or like if the kids aren't even home or something for like the weekend. Marcy's just becomes the new bed for a while. And of course, you know, Skylar will continue to bang said bed. He is not leaving that kitty unsatisfied. I'd sell my soul to make that happen. Well, I am working on the anniversary art set, so maybe I can try to toss something similar in. I'm not sure how many pics will be in it, and debating on if I'll toss in previous specials into it. We'll see what I can do. Like, I'll do my best. I still want to try to make something for Vor Day. So, lots to do. Among other things. I could see that. I could see an alternate universe where all the female IHAC characters are just strippers. And like Marcy's dating Skylar, and even though he's a DJ, he's actually a really good cook as well. And that's how she's been getting like fatter throughout her career as a stripper. Yeah, I'll see if I can do something for 4-day. If I am gonna try to do something, I'm like the only way I can make time or make sure I have time is to probably not stream on a day, just so I can try to crank something out. Because I would love to do like a short video of something. Or even just an art set. Shrink this down a bit. Yeah. Like, as much as I would like to keep streaming and stuff like that every day, I gotta have moments where I have to be like, okay, this is more important. But gonna try to see how much of that I can do this week. Yeah, like I make absolutely nothing from the streams, so this is all just for fun. If I do somehow start making something from the streams, then I'll try to make something more useful, like a short skit or something. Or like, you know, use like voice clips from something and have my characters react to it, or roleplay the lines like what I did with Becky. But yeah, at the moment nothing comes from these. This is purely on a whim. Okay, let's lower the opacity of that. And this. Thank you for subscribing, Sandra, Texas. Yeah, Texas. I had to make sure I was reading that right. That expression. She's like, yeah, see, it's fine, right? Like, there's no difference, there's no change. I might shrink her a little bit just so we have more of her, but we'll see how far I get with this first. Big Mama Marcy. Skylar just looks at all of Marcy's fans. And he's like, hey, you see that? I'm hitting that. he just grins at all of you. He's like, yeah, you guys can look, but I get the touch. It should have been me, not him. It's not fair. Honestly, if the shirt covers her at all, it would be a fucking miracle. So yeah, I'll probably shrink her down a bit so we can see more of her. I just want to get the initial look in. Imagine if she tried to wear like her old bra. It's like, that bitch ain't going nowhere. Like, that ain't gonna cut. Like, one cup would probably cover up a nipple. And just the rest of the breast is there. That those things would snap. A little sweat drop just to make it look like she's being all innocent. She's like, see, there isn't any difference, right? Yeah, she takes up a pretty big chunk of the bed. Not that he minds, because he's just going to be spooning her from behind anyway. Got his hands wrapped as much as he can around her, and just big old cat booty right against his crotch. You know damn well he is perfectly fine with this setup. It's like, yeah, she takes up about 95% of the bed, but I'm perfectly fine with this. Yes. If they were real, they would thank you guys ridiculously. Like, you know, Marcy would be like, oh my god, thank you. I'm so, like, this makes me so happy. You know, if Marcy was real, she would be like, oh, there's got to be something I can do for all the people who've supported us. And then, sure enough, Skylar would be like, I have an idea. Puts her on a fucking anniversary mukbang or something. Just a big old table full of food, and she just streams herself eating it all. However long it takes her to actually do it. Realistically, it probably wouldn't take her very long, but I'd probably stretch it out to like at least 2 hours of her eating. And of course, she'd let out some belches every once in a while and rubs her belly. You see, this is the dream in the future. We'll eventually animate her just doing that. Maybe someday. I think her tits would be a little bit higher up if we're gonna do it this way. So more like this, because we're being pushed up by her belly. And we'll round that out later. I just want to get her stomach posed. But yeah, it would be like a animation of like a table in front of her while she's sitting on the bed, and then towards the end when she's about to finish eating the whole thing, you just hear the bed start cracking more and more and just collapse as she you see her noticeably like fall downwards, but like not to the point where she like falls over, but just like a height change. So like for example, she'd be up here, then suddenly she dropped downwards to like that because her big old booty would just cushion the fall. And there we go. That'd be like towards the end of the stream. Big hunkin' little spoon. Yep. Maybe I'll have two versions of this. One where the hand is in front of her, or where the hand with the photo is in front of her, and one without. That way we can at least see her a bit more. See, the funny part is I want her to be wearing the jeans, but if I keep her this close, we won't be able to see them. So I'm gonna have to adjust her more if we're gonna see the rest of her. So let me see how much of her I can actually show, because I don't want her too small, because I don't want her to look like she's standing far away. Maybe I think this should be fine, because then we can show at least her legs. So this should be fine. Need to make her boobs bigger. And maybe lift this part up a bit. It's a little bit too thick for what I want. So something about here should do it. Big kitty. But yeah, Skylar's living the dream, waking up to a big beautiful wife and her gigantic assets. And she's a foodie. So presses all of his buttons. Let's fix this, make this better. Well, I want it to look right. Like, I do this all the time when I'm drawing normally. I'll be like, no, this doesn't look right. Resize it, adjust this, adjust that. I mean, hell, there's been times where I've completely drawn a page and I'll look at it and be like, nah, this doesn't look right, and then scrap the whole thing. Like, not even save it. Sometimes there are poses and expressions that I've drawn that just don't look right, and I'll just completely redo it. So yeah, we'll definitely have a version of this with the photo in the hand. You know, let me do that now just so I don't forget. So we'll move this up here, this up here, put them both in the same folder. There. And we'll just do this so they're the same, and then do that. There we go. Big titty kitty. As soon as the stream's over, Skylar just goes over to Marcy and is like, you, me, bet, now. And she just has this big grin on her face. He's like, okay. As he pulls her over to the bedroom. Morning comes and you just see Marcy pass the fuck out while Skylar's ordering another bed. Probably has gotten enough like points for discounts or something by now. It would be fun to show some moments of Marcy doing some eating shenanigans without Skylar, such as like doing contests and stuff. And can see that it's like there's like slight differences between when she does things with Skylar and when she does things on her own. Like for some reason it's not as smooth sailings as she assumed. because she doesn't have Skylar's influence all the time. But she's definitely built herself up enough to be able to do things on her own. So her boobs would be kind of squeezed a bit because she's wearing her tight shirt. Can't forget her thighs. Her gigantic mom thighs. I was like, alright, what are the check boxes for Marcy? Alright, she's a MILF, she's a cat girl, she's fat, she's thick, she's a SSBBW, she's a foodie, big tits, cute, I don't know, whatever else we can check off. Skylar would be like, and she's mine. As he has this big old grin. You know that if Skylar was self-aware that people are watching them, he would walk over to Marcy, just give her a big old spank on the ass. And not only just to get her to like be surprised and probably moan or something, but just to see her ass jiggle for a bit. And he'll just glare at the camera and be like, you see that? Oh, that's mine. You guys can't have any. Or he probably wouldn't even say anything, he would just look at the camera and grin as he starts giving her big kisses and stuff. And being all flirty. And then Marcy would be like, Skylar, what's gotten into you? And she's like, and he'd be like, the same thing that's about to get into you. And she'd be like, whoa. As he smooth talks her. Probably just does her in the kitchen, I don't know. The things most men would fantasize. But he gets to do it. Bigger. Anyway. There we go. So anyway, that's how I get through drawing these characters, is just be like, alright, what scenario can I envision them being in? And what makes it interesting. It would be funny to see Skylar go to like a parent-teacher conference or something. And he'd be like, Marcy, why can't you go? And she's like, I'm busy doing blah 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 blah. And he'd be like, ugh. It would be fun to see like Skylar and Alara hang out. Or Marcel. Just have some father-daughter time. Watch Skylar be all parenty about what his girls wear. He's like, Alara, what are you wearing? And he's like, and she's like, what? This is what all the other girls wear. And he's like, yeah, but I'm not their father. being a bit of a annoyance to her. And of course, she'll probably pretend that she's going to go somewhere wearing something normal, but then as soon as she gets out of like view of her house, she goes around a corner and just changes clothes. To Skylar's dismay, sees them and sees like Alara or Marceau, whichever makes the most sense, wearing like a thong, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" Or he like tries doing laundry or whatever and sees that, and Marcy's just like, "What? It's normal for girls to wear stuff like that." And he's like, "What? Look at this thing. It's just a piece of string." And then Marcy would just look at him and he's like, You weren't complaining when I was wearing something like that." And Skylar would be like, "Okay, point taken." And then he'll like pause for a moment. He's like, "Wait, who is she wearing this for?" Oh, it would be even interesting if like a guy breaks up with one of his girls like by like treating them badly or whatever the case may be, and he sees them crying and all that, and he's like, "Huh." And then sure enough, his ass would be fucking hunting their ex-boyfriends down. And let's just say they get turned to cake or something. I don't know. And if we really want to get dark, he'll have Marcy eat them. You're like, "All right, now they're cake. What do I do with the cake?" "Hey, honey, I made you this cake." That'd be like Skylar's worst nightmare is either A, they're wearing skippy clothing for no reason, they're just wearing it, and B, if they're wearing it for some guy that he probably doesn't approve of. And then the weird part is like if he tries to say like, "Oh, guys are insert word here," it's gonna look at him, or it's gonna be like the camera will like hover on him for a moment, and be like, wait a minute, aren't you a weirdo?" He's like, "Oh, you don't know the kind of freaks boys can be," as the camera lingers on him. Or Marcy shoots him a glare. He's like, "Oh, really now?" Actually, I want to get the rest of her drawn first before I start doing that. I can see them having like weird conversations about their designs, where Marcy's like, "What's it like having only 3 fingers?" Or 4 if you count the thumb. And Skylar's like, "I don't know, what's it like having 5?" Yeah, kinda. Like, the main idea is still to keep Marcy in the dark about all that. But in terms of just normal conversations, it'd be fun to just see them chit-chatting about random shit. Marcy looking through the paper or scrolling online, be like, "Oh, there's a sale on groceries tomorrow." Yeah, I could probably make her arm just a little bit more pulled out. Just a bit. Because even her reference looks like it has a little bit more reach than that. So about here should do it. Well, she got pretty big pretty quickly when she was younger. But she's definitely bigger when she's an adult. Skylar probably just took his time on her when they started dating. But he definitely blew her up when they first started going out. Or during like the beginning days in the comic. What do you think her thought process would be if she thought about if she gets fat? Sparrow, big cat. Well, thanks to Skylar's influence, she's pretty mobile, despite being so big. But it would definitely be a problem if she was trying to, like, you know, walk around the house. So she's pretty much at a stable size where she's able to do what she needs to do around the home and stuff like that, and still be like a big kitty. So she's pretty much like perfect the way she is. But every once in a while, Skylar will like fatten her up for, like, you know, when they have like date night or something. But then slowly slim her back down to a workable size. Because at that point, it's just for fun. It's not like supposed to be a permanent thing. But the way she is, canonically, is like the perfect size for her. I could say in her beginning years she might have hesitated or been a little cautious about getting too fat, but I would say thanks to Skylar's like both influence and encouragement, she's not so worried about it. Especially if he's helping her, like, you know, get back to a more manageable size after he has fun with her. And he could always like make her slim down immediately, but he's still like keeping his abilities hidden, so he just makes up scenarios where she has to like work out, but like he'll give her food that helps her lose weight without her knowing that it's working faster than normal. So like maybe after like, I don't know, a week or two, she's back to her more manageable size. But this only works if he's the one helping her. Will we ever see date night? Probably in the future. It's just gonna be a while because I have other comics to work on. Holy shit, you made her enormous. Oh, yes. Big old kitty. Now the challenge is putting her clothes on. So her jeans are probably gonna be like, they're gonna look like fucking tight short shorts on her. And her top, probably gonna look like a very, very constricting bra at this point. Because I don't actually want her clothes to rip. Okay, so there's two ways we can go about this. I'm probably gonna do it this way just so we have more to work with. And then I'll probably adjust it as we go. Oh yeah, you can see her just hounding down on salads that Skylar makes her. He wouldn't mind, but he definitely knows that he has to pick his moments to let her do that. But of course, she has her moments of being gluttonous when he's not around. Because she's picked up a few habits over time. Fix that. How did she even get them on in the first place? Good question. And someday we'll perhaps find an answer to that. If I had the time, I would totally draw like a scenario where Skylar's helping her put on clothes and just her big old booty is like a huge challenge. Trying to put jeans on her. And he's like, honey, I don't think these jeans are gonna fit. She's like, no, they're 50% off. We're gonna make them fit. And like her ass would just be like this. So here's her ass, here are the jeans down here. Just struggling to get past her. Because like her rest of her thighs are like over here or something. So this big old cat booty. And Skylar just like trying to pull them from below. Be like, it's like, honey, I don't think this is gonna happen. And he's like, it's gonna happen, keep going. I should get back to drawing like sketches or just random doodles that don't have to like be colored or anything. Just draw random ideas for each cello. Blood, sweat, and more sweat. Totally worth it. Finally gets them on. She's like, see, they're on. And as she walks away with her new jeans, her ass is just like this. Just swishing back and forth as she's walking, but like the jeans only go like up to here, so like the rest of her ass is just like up here. And like I don't know what's left of her underwear or whatever the case may be. Of course her ass would be much thicker than all this. I'm just drawing a quickie on this. So it'd be something like that. Look, these are the ideas that get me through today. When I'm sitting there going like, man, I need some motivation. Thinks about Marcy. Okay, got my motivation. Doesn't take much, but sometimes you just need those little moments where you're like, man, I need to pick me up. Okay, so if we're doing this, realistically, her boobs would be spilling out of this damn thing. Probably to about here. Nah, we can do this better. Exactly. It's like Skylar knows when she's just messing with him, but it's always gonna work. She'd be like, "Honey, do these leggings make my ass look big?" Just big old cat booty in front of his face, and he'd be like, "Yes, but it could be bigger." As he pounces her. Could say like before they had kids, they were just super. I mean, nothing really keeping them from being this way, but they were just like really frisky. Especially Skylar once he has his perfect woman. Skylar's just like, I have the perfect wife. But yeah, I don't want to draw the outfit being torn. I just want it to look ridiculous on her. Be like, how the hell did you even put this on? And how is it so stretchy? Exactly. She's like, oh yeah, definitely pulling it off. Skylar's just drooling as he sees his big kitty stuffed into these tight clothes. He's like, good lord, woman. How are you even doing this? Do. And then eventually I will work on the Marcy versus Hetty thing. Still debating what I want to actually do with that. Because it could be just an art set, it could be like a short comic event thing. I just have to find the time for it. So maybe I'll slowly work on it as after I'm done with the anniversary set. I won't have a time frame, but I think if I'm slowly working on it, I can get it out at some point. Well, she didn't have the ear piercings in her original outfit. I thought about that too. I was like, should she be wearing them or should I keep her in line with her original? I mean, she can wear them. It's not a big deal. But yeah, like I can give her the piercings. It's really not that big of a deal. Plus, it would make sense that she wouldn't think to take them out. So yeah, I'll probably give her piercings. So yeah, let's just do that. Because it would make sense that she wouldn't take them out. There we go. Big stretch. I can see Marcy threatening her kids this way. He's like, clean your rooms, or else I'm going to pick you up from school dressed like this. And they're both like, no. She just chuckles as they rush to go clean their room. What brush do you use to use? I just use the real G pen on Clip Studio Paint. Just to help highlight the Cerato form. Yeah, that makes sense. Can always just like put a date on the photo as well. Put 2015 and then her now. And smooth out her boob a bit. There we go. Yeah, the stream's gonna end in about 13 minutes. But yeah, I hope you have a good day. And whatever I don't finish, I'll finish offline and have it ready for the morning. But yeah, thank you for coming. As for the brush, pretty much just practice with any brush you find. Eventually you'll get used to it, or you'll find like a particular way that you want to use it that will that you'll adapt to. Like me, I like using this brush because it has like a sketchiness to it. I technically have a brush that I made, but I haven't touched that thing in forever. Is it even in here anymore? I think I might have deleted it by now. Yeah, I deleted it because I used the real G pen now, so I didn't see the reason to keep mine. Mine was just more of like a oval shape, kind of like that, and that's what I was using for like a good while before I started using this brush. Thank you. Glad you like her. Yeah, you just gotta play around with like all the tools and stuff for things like this, and you'll see what works and what doesn't for you. Because sometimes what works for me doesn't work for you, or won't work for you for whatever reason. Okay, so let me bring up her. So let's just say her genes only managed to get this far because we're counting like the entire leg and not like as if it was shorts, or as if it was only shorts. So imagine it as the whole leg, but it's being treated as shorts. This would be much smaller. Some exaggeration here and there, but looks good. Kind of pinch this area a little bit. I should probably have Skylar's reaction be like, how did you even get this on? Her legs would be thicker than this, though. Okay, this is pretty much Marcy. Probably smooth out some spots here. Make it less pinched. There we go. Looking at her thighs, I think it should be much wider than this. Blah blah blah. This would be out here. Now that I'm looking at her thighs more. There we go. Alright. I am going to call it for tonight. Thank you everybody for coming. I will stream again in the morning, 9 a.m. I will stop that. 9 a.m. Pacific time, and I'll likely work on this throughout the night, and I'll post it in the morning when it's ready. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming, and I will see you guys again next time. All right. Good night.